With that. Afternoon, guys. Welcome all of our guests, and especially you guys in the States. So it's Sunday evening for you, Monday here in Australia. So today I'm just going to mainly be doing a Q&A just on the topic of the Demodex mites. So I'm basically just going to answer questions today. So we've invited a few guests, and yeah, I'll just patiently wait for the questions to start coming in. Slowly but surely, I'm sure. Got a question from Linda Menzies, just asking what type of mites there are. Linda, that's a really good question. So the two types of mites that Unjects deal with predominantly are your Phylocorum and your brevis. So just explaining a little bit about each one. So you've got the Phylocorum. They're the ones that are found in your hair follicles, and they will be underneath the hair follicle predominantly. And then at night time, of course, they come to the surface when they will. And your brevis, they're predominantly found in the sebaceous glands, and those mites are the ones that are living in your skin. They can spread to all over the body. Yeah, they don't need hair to survive. So, yeah, I think that answers that. From your dog. So there's another type of mite that live on the dog, and I think they can only survive on human skin in that contact for about around 24 hours. So we know that the ones from humans, when they're no longer in contact with human skin, they can survive for up to 52 hours. So generally following Unjects protocol, we tell people when they're changing their linen to do it basically every third day. So your rotation is change your sheets every day, but when you wash those ones, if you leave them out on the line or once they're away, any mites that are left on that for 52 hours won't be able to transfer back onto your skin, so they'll actually perish. Any more questions, please, guys? How did you get them in the first place? Well, generally, the mites actually exist on nearly everyone. There's been some university studies that have been done where 100% of the people that were tested that were over the age of 18 actually had the mites. So we'd say it's a microscopic organism that's actually evolved and survived, and it's been around for millions of years, if not longer, and surviving on other sorts of creatures. But the Phylocorum and the brevis are the ones that are specifically adapted to be able to survive on humans. And for a subdermal parasitic organism, they have a really long lifespan. So yeah, I hope that answers that one fairly well. Or other ways we can say that you got them is they were always present, but if they actually started causing issues, it's because their population densities got larger. So basically, anytime their conditions are perfect for them, so when there's more oils or fats introduced to the skin by way of cosmetics or just oily skin itself, their population densities will actually increase. Other times that they actually increase in population is when your immune system's down. So if you have actually taken some certain antibiotics, we know that it can change the habits of the mites. They might burrow deeper. They might not come to the surface as much at night time. When with the Unjects protocol, that's when we like to actually kill them at night time because there's more of them on the surface. So that's when we use our PDT product, which is actually not that one. Must be this one here. So the PDT is the one that we use at night time with the Unjects protocol, and that's the killer product that actually will be killing the mites. So I think I've explained in the last video that the products work in two ways. So it's a two-pronged approach to actually attacking the mites and dealing with them. I won't go into that any further because I really want to focus on the mites today. So Some questions have come in privately. Yep. Sorry, guys. Whereabouts the mites actually lay eggs. So the mites will be laying eggs in the sebaceous glands and in the hair follicle, usually towards the bottom of the hair follicle, but it can be closer to the surface as well. But predominantly the eggs are as deep down as the mites can get them. Yeah, and are they contagious? We don't really think of them as being like contagious, but they can be transferred from like skin-on-skin contact, or even from if you wore the same clothes or slept on the same sheets, the linen. And that's another reason in the protocol we really recommend that the sheets get changed every night, and just due to the fact that they can survive for 52 hours without having contact with the host, I guess, the humans. It means that we try and change those sheets every night and not put those ones back on the bed until the 3rd day's expired. How do I know if they're actually causing my acne? It's a really hard and technical question to answer. You can have the skin test done. There's a link attached to this as well. You guys will make it easy for you to find. I'll attach a link to it after this video. But there's a population density test, and then anyone who fills that out, you'll be linked in with one of the consultants. We'll try to offer free 10-minute phone consultations, but it's really, really busy. Basically, there's a lot of people suffering with the mites, and there's not enough consultants to sort of go around. But we try and sort of it's on a triage basis as well. So the higher you do score on the test, the more likely we are to call you as quickly as we possibly can. So we do try and get to everyone, and usually we do, but it can take a day or two. So sorry about that, guys, but yeah, we're the only one that really offers a complete solution. And yeah, we're over here in Australia. We've got a 24/7 team. You can find us online. If there's any questions, don't hesitate to get in contact with us. But your best option, your best bet really is to take the population density test. So yeah, if they're causing your acne, I'll get back to that. Sorry to sort of sidestep the question a little bit there. I want to try and answer it as directly as I possibly can. What I can say about, with keeping everyone's confidentiality as the top priority though, what I can say about the clients that I'm dealing with on a day-to-day basis that are suffering from acne is that once they undergo treatment and they use the product, if I speak in just plain facts, they're experiencing relief from their symptoms. So I guess that's how I'll answer that without really going into too much medical, scientific or technical jargon. I spoke to someone some time ago. How do I get in touch again? Okay, so we'll make it easy for you. We'll attach a link to this video. I want you guys to keep on answering questions, asking questions as much as you possibly can, and I'll do my best to answer them all for you. So you can find us as well online at Mites Off. All our contact details there, but there's, like I said, there's a 24/7 team. So yeah, please don't hesitate if you want to get in touch with one of the consultants. There's always someone there. If it's a really technical question, they might refer us on to another consultant. We might have to consult together to solve some of the harder problems. So we know that there is quite a lot of issues that come up in relation to the Demodex mites. So yeah, we try and offer a complete solution, and one that's individual and specific to every single individual person, because it's never the same. So next questions, guys, please keep them coming, and you'll keep me talking. Just being worried about sleeping with your, yeah, well, it's not dangerous for you to sleep next to your animal. Basically, the mites can transfer, but it's not something where they're going to survive on the human skin for a long period of time. It's the same as most types of lice. They won't actually be able to survive on animals. Fleas can survive on dogs. Basically, we've got brevis and phallocorum, and they survive on humans. Dogs have got their own specific type of mites, and they don't survive on humans. They'll survive on the dogs. So that's a pretty easy one to sort of answer. Yeah, it's pretty safe for you to sleep next to your pets. That's fine. However, if you see some of the photos of the Demodex, the mange on the dogs, it's probably a little bit more frightening. So just out of sort of on a hygiene level, you might not. You'd be a little bit more, depending on the level of the population densities. So next questions, please, guys. Yeah, just a few things about the online test. Is it comparable to a microscopic scraping? So I suppose they're both different, and they're both fairly conclusive for us. With the microscopic scraping, it's something that we're actually analysing it under the microscope, but there's a few problems with it. That being generally when we get people coming in, it's the daytime, so the mites being predominantly subdermal and coming out at night time. When there's no UV rays, that actually implies that it's going to be harder for us to find them, contact on the skin. A lot of the times we find bodies, we don't find like a living specimen, or someone scores very high on the test and they've got all the symptoms, and then they might have, somewhere between 3 and 5, not 5 to 10 mites that we find on the scraping that we do. So I suppose that's one of the differences. It's fairly conclusive, I suppose. We know when we ask the direct questions about, rosacea, or blepharitis, or eczema, when we ask those questions, we're going to get answers that really tell us whether or not the Ungex product and the protocol, it can help you. So basically, if we're getting in contact and we're offering you a solution to the problems, we're fairly confident that what we're going to do is going to relieve you from some of the symptoms that you're suffering from. So I think that's another way. With the microscopic the test, though, I haven't ever seen someone come into the office that's seen it and seen the Demodex mites present and decided not to move forward with treatment. So once you see them, I suppose visually, you really want them gone, where I guess it's a little bit easier to do. Just ignore the problem if it's posed in the way of an online test where we rate the densities in basically going off what you tell us. So as long as the information we have in the test is correct and accurate, the consultants here at Ungex are going to do a really good job of deciding whether they can help or not. So that's one of the main points to remember. I suppose the other one is the more symptoms people are suffering from, the higher their score on the test. So the more of those symptoms they're going to get relief from when using the Ungex protocol, if we believe that we can do it with the product. And I suppose the other thing about the product, I've had some customers ask me about bird mites and lice and other sort of parasitic organisms as well. Now, the main thing to remember about it is that the Ungex protocol and the product will actually kill those as well. So the PDT, it's been tested. We know that if we spray it on cockroaches, it'll actually kill those. And the funny thing about the cockroach is it's the only creature on Earth that can survive a nuclear apocalypse. So if the PDT can kill it, I'm pretty confident it can kill most subdermal parasites. And there hasn't been any that's been tested on that it doesn't kill. So that's another thing to remember about it as well. So I think I've got some more questions coming in, guys. I'll just have to. Yeah, if you're in Melbourne, guys, you can contact us to book in for a test. There is a fee. We charge $90 for the test, but it takes somewhere between 25 minutes and half an hour for us to get an accurate reading after doing it. But you'll see one of the consultants here that have, we've done the test a lot of times, and generally when people call us up, we'll offer them a free 10-minute phone consultation, and we're able to assess then, like over the phone, whether it's a Demodex issue or not. So I haven't seen anyone come in yet that hasn't had the mites once they've spoken to one of the consultants. So I suppose that's the other thing, going back to the online test as well. The consultants, it's what they do. So basically, if they're concluding that the Demodex mites are going to be present, I haven't seen a case where they've been wrong so far. I'll move on from that one with some more questions, please, guys. Just looking at the time now too, we're nearly out of time as well. So if there's any more questions, I'll just get you guys to pop them through to me quickly, please. Can you see the mites? Well, it's a good question, I suppose, but only if you've got a microscope. So I think the last time I saw one, you're looking at about 0.4 of a millimeter. So no, you can't see them with the naked eye. They're a microscopic parasitic organism, and yeah, they're impossible to see with the naked eye. So I want to get that one really clear, though. No, you can't see them with the naked eye. We have people experiencing, this is a really common symptom. It's the crawling and the itching sensation, or the moving around. Look, from personal experience, I say that's a proven phenomenon that does actually happen. People can feel the mites, and if you jump onto Mites Off, you can see some photographs with a radio micro telescope that actually shows you exactly the kind of issues they're causing, blocking up pores and living underneath the hair follicles. So yeah, I might do one more question, guys, and that'll be about all the time I have until Thursday for you guys in the US and Friday for the people in Australia. Must be one more. Anyone? How can people prevent mites? Well, we know that when people are in good eating habits and they're not smoking and they're keeping their immune system at a good level, that's a good prevention for the mites. But if you've been treated, what we do advise is continued use with the invigorating shampoo and the purifying shampoo. So I suppose I'll go back into protocol that I was talking about in the last video. Excuse me. Just with those two products combined, what we're doing is the PDT is a product that we use for the treatment at night time to kill the mites. And that's all well and good, but it won't work properly without the right protocol. And the right protocol is with the purifying shampoo and the invigorating shampoo. We alternate those between days. And what actually happens with the hair and the skin is it becomes a more hostile environment that's not rich in those oils and fats that the mites need to really increase in population density. So basically we're making it a hostile environment for them. And then after that, the ones that are coming to the surface, we're killing those. That's how we're able to guarantee that with the Unjex protocol, we'll actually terminate the mites, get rid of them, and help you eliminate them. So, well, that's about all I've got time for today, unless anyone can squeeze in a question really quickly. All right, guys. Well, I hope I've helped and answered as many questions as I could, and I'll see you on Friday or Thursday, respectively, for you guys in the US. Thanks.